Hello, my name is Stephen Callahan. Today I'm a squad leader for First Squad. This is our situation portion of the op board. We are at the task order of the platoon level. The platoon's task is to attack and destroy objective Hennon for the purpose of not enemy influence on battalion DO. We are the main effort here. First Squad, second, third, and weapon squad are all acting in support for us to attack and destroy objective Hennon for the purpose of not enemy influence on battalion DO. We're divided up into three squads here, three teams here, Alpha, Bravo, and Gun Team 1. Alpha team's task is to attack and destroy objective Hennon for the purpose of not enemy influence on battalion DO. Bravo team's task is to isolate with the purpose to disrupt enemy operations on RTE Camaro. Both Bravo and Alpha team both possess the same key weapon systems in M249 and the M320. Our inorganic attached weapon team here is Gun Team 1. Their task is to support First Squad with cover and concealment with the purpose of not enemy influence on First Squad. Key weapon systems include one M240 Bravo and one AT4 Javelin. Here is our area of operations, AO Ronin. As you can see here, RTE Camaro is our northern limit, which is going to be 37 northern. Our southern limit is to be 31 northern near the southern edge of this mountain range. Additionally, our eastern limit is going to be 17 easting, which is the mountain range in and of itself. And our western limit is going to be 10 easting, which is the Benign River. Key things to note, this is our outpost, which will be moving south onto objective Hennon to attack and destroy. We find key terrain here being the bridge and an intersection, which I'll talk about the importance of that later. Regarding our assets, we have fixed and rotary assets, one platoon Z-10K attack helicopters located at Tatung Air Base with the trigger ID of key USF battalion or higher enablers with a reaction time of 30 minutes. Our indirect fires capabilities include a battery of PL-66 152mm howitzers firing from multiple POOs in vicinity of Tatung, ranging entirety of AO Ronin. Their trigger is the identification of USF infantry elements of squad size currently firing in support of North Torby defenders on objective Bobcat, which reaction time 10 minutes. We have one PP-87 detected by battalion Q-50 counterfire radar located here. Daily firing pattern during the period of 0300, 0800, and 1500, 1900, reaction time 15 minutes. Additionally, we have reserve and reinforcement below our AO, which is the motorized platoon, located here. Additionally, we have air defense artillery capabilities throughout the entire AO Ronin. Here is our GTAO. You can see there is lots of terrain to be seen. We have lots of existing obstacles, including this mountain range taking up the entirety of this portion of the map, as well as this large river. The coastal mountain range bounds AO Ronin to the west, while the river bounds AO Ronin to the east. This will definitely impede our movement as a squad along this avenue approach to objective Hennon. We're going to have to account for that, the time and the difficulty it's going to take to get to objective Hennon. Additionally, this river is going to help us in the fact that enemy units found on the west side are going to be constrained to how they can reach us moving towards objective Hennon here. Additionally, enemy units are constrained in this area here by the mountain range and by the river here. They're going to have very limited capabilities of where they can go. This is acting as a choke point. Deduction, so what? Squad must maneuver through the terrain with precision and must account for the time and difficulty it will take to get to objective Hennon. Regarding our avenue approach, this is going to be our main avenue approach. It's going to take us along the mountain range, and it's going to be the least costly route regarding terrain and contact with the enemy. Most influential enemy units are positioned at or near objective Hennon, so they won't have as far of a distance to move. Most likely avenue approach, they're going to come from the south, or they might come from the west, where there are existing enemy units here across the bridge, key terrain 1. And additionally, AA6, they have the capability to leave and go south of AO Ronin. Our squad must maintain our positioning along this avenue of approach to minimize risk from the enemy in order to infiltrate objective Hennon. Failure to do so will jeopardize the mission. Key terrain, again, this bridge is going to be key terrain binding the west side of the map to the east side. Additionally, there's an intersection here, which allows enemy units to infiltrate objective Hennon with supply and support. These two key terrains are crucial for establishment on both sides of the fight. Establishment of these key terrains may be indicative to objective Hennon securement. If we are able to blockade both of these, we will be able to stop the limitations that the enemies have. Additionally, observation of fields of fire. There will be observation of fields of fire throughout this map. Regarding observation of fields of fire for us, mountain range east of the objective Hennon, elevated area northwest of objective Hennon, as well as elevated area across the bridge. Both friendly and enemy units have various areas to establish observation fields of fire, particularly This is a threat to friendly forces given the extended distance we have to travel from the north to the south of objective Phantom. Additionally, regarding cover and concealment, there can be cover and concealment found throughout this entire map. There's lots of severely restricted terrain and restricted terrain, allowing us to have success in successive bounded movements. Given the terrain, there's going to be lots of elevation changes, lots of wooded area, providing cover and concealment whenever we get into more of a fight down the southern area of the map. Existing land features grant these capabilities of cover concealment for both the enemy and friendly. Regarding weather, visibility is going to decrease gradually over the week. This is going to help us given our NVG capabilities. Wind is very mild, so it's not anything to note for. Precipitation is going to be steadily throughout our operation, 65 to 75% throughout our operation. So we should account for that in our long trek from the north to the south to Objective Phantom. This might make it much harder and longer for us to get from point to point. Additionally, cloud cover is going to be consistent throughout the entirety of the operation. Lots of cloud cover will minimize the effectiveness of long-range artillery on both the friendly and enemy. This is going to help us because our squad movement is going to be more discreet against the enemy's long-range weapons capability. And temperature is going to remain high in high 80s throughout the operation. That shouldn't cause too many problems regarding our movement from here to here, making it a little bit more difficult to do so. Here is our enemy capabilities, one level up. We are fighting a motorized infantry platoon, one level up at 90% strength. Their task is to occupy infrastructure within AO area with the purpose of control remaining local civilian populace. We have 4 squads here. The main effort is going to occupy infrastructure right at Objective Phantom with the purpose to control civilian populace. Both the main effort, supporting element, and supporting element 2 all have the same key weapon system, a QJY-88, QLG-10, CSK-141, QBU-88. Additionally, there's a reconnaissance squad with the task to screen to provide early warning of USF actions. Additionally, there is a mortar team with the task to destroy USF forces with the purpose to deny, with a key weapon system of PPP-871X A22mm mortar. The 4 squads here are going to have 8 packs located at these several locations, and the team here is going to have 3 packs because we are at 90% strength. The most common weapon system is going to be QBZ-95, which is equivalent to an M4. Additionally, the most dangerous weapon system is going to be that mortar, which is compared PPP-871X 88mm mortar, which is comparable to a mortar. So here is our macro depiction of the enemy system. We have the reconnaissance team, which is going to infiltrate us as we move from the north to the south. Additionally, we have the squad here with 3 individual teams. One team's going to disrupt, one team's going to control. That's our main effort, the enemy's main effort, and one team is going to block. Additionally, we have the mortar team here with the purpose to disrupt. Here's the enemy composition and strength on our level, the squad level. Task to control key terrain to deny USF influence. That's going to be the main effort's task and purpose as well. One team, as we saw earlier, is going to be tasked to block to hinder USF forces. Another team is going to disrupt to prevent USF forces forward movement. Again, we're at 90% strength with 8 personnel. On the squad level, key weapon systems possessed are these weapon systems that we mentioned as follows. They're going to have 1 of each. Here is the weapon system, equipment, and civil with purpose to destroy. Here are their respective ranges and the US equivalent. The high value target is going to be the PPP-871X A2mm mortar. The enemy mortar is going to be residing exactly on Objective Phantom, so it's going to be pivotal that we destroy that. We must destroy that in order to get Objective Phantom. The CSK-141 is going to be the high payout target because if we take down that, that's going to limit what the enemy can do if we can take that out, helping us be decisive in our overall mission. So here is the micro level of our enemy SITTEMP. As you can see here, these are the weapon capabilities with their objective range fans. They will have, once we infiltrate from the north to the south, we will immediately be met with these range fans and their weapon capabilities. To orient you, this is the mortar of the mortar team. This is the key terrain here, the intersection that provides them movement and supplies. Here we have the first team with their respective weapons, second team with the CSK here providing much range of fire with that weapon system they have, and additionally we have the final team here. Enemy capabilities by warfighting functions. The intelligence regarding their intelligence is reconnaissance, which contains the ability to pinpoint where a squad is moving. This is going to be a strength for them. Given the likelihood of the reconnaissance squad spotting our squad's movement within our avenue of approach, other enemies units may be notified of our assault forward. Additionally, their movement and maneuvers to be found from this CSK, which is definitely a strength because this CSK permits them to move throughout the AO with much more ease than they would on foot. Additionally, their important fires is going to be this mortar, which we identified as a strength because their position of this mortar can send long-range missiles across AO Ronan. Additionally, protection. The natural existing obstacles are going to act as protection for them, as well as the urbanized features which are found within and near Objective Phantom. It will be hard to engage with the enemy given these obstacles because this protection they have both within urbanized environment as well as the woods is going to defend them from our fire. Sustainment: enemy forces are heavily spread out over AO Ronan. This is actually a weakness because due to enemy forces being spread out widely across AO Ronan, it will be harder for supporting enemy units to respond to conflicts elsewhere. Additionally, command and control. The HQ team residing within this squad, as well as other squads, are able to communicate with one another. So this is going to be a strength for them because they will be able to communicate with one another. For example, the reconnaissance squad up here, whether or not where our whereabouts are, which they can immediately move on with these CSKs. The purpose of enemy operations is to control Objective Phantom in order to prevent USF forces from obtaining key terrain on Objective Phantom. They will accomplish this by conducting a form of maneuver or form of defense, meaning area defense, to maintain their held key terrain. Decisive to their operation is controlling the squads operating within occupied villages and the operation of the mortar team right here. This is decisive because the squads currently occupy villages within AO Ronan and the mortar team resides in Objective Phantom. Terrain, the end state is the terrain is retained, enemy USF is repelled, minimize civilian casualties and establish presence in friendly North Orbian to sustain minimal casualties. If neighboring units decisively act on to defend Objective Phantom in the surrounding towns, this would make it increasingly more difficult to attack on the Objective Phantom, given the overwhelming presence of enemy forces. This is going to be the most dangerous course of action if they send particular units to help and support our assault to Objective Phantom. Friendly mission intent 2-1 levels up. Mission statement: Charger Company 1-15 infantry disrupt enemy forces within AO Ronan no later than this time in order to deny enemy influence on the battalion GO. Expanded purpose: conduct disjointed squad operations in depth within AO Ronan to conceal the current capability of Charger Company. Disrupt the enemy commanders decisively making cycle and buy time for the remainder of the company to reconsolidate for more offensive ops. Key tasks contain these tasks right here. Terrain: primary MSRs and AO Ronan are contested. Enemy North Torbian forces in zone disrupted without accurate knowledge of company element composition is the disposition. Again, they're going to want to minimize civilian casualties and disperse elements reconciled and postured for follow-on offensive operations. Adjacent units are 2nd Platoon and 3rd Platoon. They're going to task to destroy and infiltrate. 3rd Platoon is seize and infiltrate. 1 level up, they possess the same mission statement regarding AO Ronan no later than the same time in order to deny enemy influence on Battalion ME. They possess the exact same key task. Expanded purpose: conduct disjointed squad ops in depth within AO Ronan to conceal the current capability of Charter Company, disrupt the enemy commander decision-making style, and buy time the remainder of the CO to reconsolidate for more offensive ops. Terrain: primary MSRs and AO are contested. Enemy North Torbian forces are in zone disrupted without accurate knowledge of platoon element disposition. Minimize civilian casualties and collateral damage to infrastructure. Friendly dispersed platoon enemy reconsolidated at patrol posture for more on offensive ops. 2nd and 3rd squad task: ambush to destroy enemy on objective reacher, and 3rd squad demonstration to suppress on objective ghosts. Thank you.